All right, now that closing is fast approaching, we wanted to reach out and let you know what to expect at closing. Closing is when the whole transaction comes together. It's when the transfer of property occurs. This is also when outstanding mortgages and liens are paid off, and you receive the proceeds from the sale of your home. Closing is when all the paperwork and documentation for the sale and transfer of your property get finalized. When working with a title company, your title policy ensures that you are getting that home free and clear, and that all encumbrances have been removed. As you know, of course, the title company is the one that handles escrows, and it's our title company, our title closer in particular, that will handle the actual closing itself. All right, so let's get to a couple of frequently asked questions about closing. So where will my closing happen? In almost all cases, closings take place at the title company unless we've arranged for a notary to come to you. We can do that in special circumstances. It's much better to happen at the title company when we can. Another question that I get often is, how long does closing take? So the answer is, in short, it takes about 15 to 30 minutes to handle the seller side of a closing. However, if you're involved with the buyer and you're closing together, or you're waiting for funds or some other things like that happen, you may end up taking as much as an hour and 15 minutes. Keep in mind that you probably want to plan on the longer side just in case that something comes up, if there's paperwork missing and so on and so forth. You'll be not signing as many documents as the buyer, so your portion is much, much shorter. But again, probably allow yourself more like an hour, even though it's possible we could have you out of there in like 20 minutes. All right, another question that we get is, do I have to attend closing? So the answer is yes and no, but there are a lot of documents in the transfer of real estate that have to be wet signed. So that means you're gonna have to be present, or a notary is gonna have to be present. So typically you would come in and you would sign those at the closing company, as we mentioned to you. If you're signing remotely, can that be done? Yes. A lot of times people will sign ahead of time, especially if you're looking to move before the actual closing happens. But if we need to, we can arrange for a notary to come to you. You will still have to sign in person somewhere, either at the closing company or in the presence of a notary. Another question we get frequently is, what do I need to bring to closing? So we are going to tell you specifically when it gets to be your time, but just plan on a few basics: photo ID that's government issued, and then we're gonna, depending on your situation, if you're getting money back, we'll have you arrange for wire transfer to happen, or the title company can cut you a check. You'll just need to provide account information. If there's a power of attorney involved, they'll need to have an original document. If there are other special documents that might come into play, you may need to bring actual proof of those. Some things that maybe the closer's already gotten a copy of, but they need to have verification of an original document. We will let you know specifically when it comes to your property what exactly you'll need to bring. Just keep in mind the basics again: the photo ID, and then account information if you would like to have your proceeds wired to you. All right, so what about after closing? When the closing is complete and both parties have signed, you no longer own the property. Okay, that's the whole goal, right? You are expected to vacate the home typically. We'll pay attention to possession date, not closing date. Most times those are the same, but the possession date is when you need to be out and the buyer takes possession of the home. You will need to remember to relinquish not only possession, but you'll need to surrender your keys, garage remotes, access codes, any other devices that control systems in your home. Please also to remember things like appliance manuals, builder documents, anything else that you think the buyer would just appreciate having. And then make sure that you have all your possessions moved out by the actual closing date. This is critical. There's actually a fee associated with this if you don't move out on time. If we do need to communicate that to the buyers, let me know and we'll walk through that. To continue that thought, the other thing you want to have is make sure that you leave your house in a good condition. What you don't want to do is leave trash behind or have it look like something that may be brought up as an issue later. You don't want to have the buyer questioning how you left it. Again, they could actually potentially hold you liable for that. So make sure that you have some things set aside if you're moving to come back, either a time to come back and clean, people to come back and clean for you, or you've left out some of your cleaning supplies, brooms, mops, those types of things, and leave the property in good conditions so the buyer has no issues once they take possession. And then don't forget to change your address. This is an easy step to forget. People contact me all the time, weeks after closing, hey, I'm still getting, my boxes are sent to the wrong property, or buyers are sending their stuff here already. So make sure you go and change your address on the internet with the Postal Service.